Henry Burris in hour two, three-time Grey Cup champion, two-time Grey Cup MVP, Canadian Football Hall of Famer, and now, what's it say here, Hank? Let's bring him in here. Co-offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach at Florida A&M, up the road there in Tallahassee, Texas. I'm so grateful that Hank has joined us today, taking the time. What's up, Henri? How are you, my friend?
Hey, man, Rod, I love the fact that you're in a basketball gym. I would love to see you try to dunk before this broadcast is over.
What? No, you don't. No, you don't. You're not the first guy to say that, by the way. Henry, please, to your millions of fans, and I say that totally respectfully, can you give them an update in your life now and what's going on there at Florida A&M?
Well, I had the opportunity to, be the co-offensive coordinator and quarterback coach here. But to me, probably the, bigger bonus that comes with being here in this position is the fact that I have the opportunity to coach my oldest son, Armand. Armand, he signed a scholarship here to be a wide receiver and also to be a student here, but more importantly, the student-athlete part. But for me, it's a dream come true, as any father would love to be able to coach their son during their journey. And for me, one of the most critical phase development is here on the collegiate level at a distinguished traditional football strong university like FAMU. So for me, it's a blessing in disguise, and things happen for a reason. And for me, it's the perfect time to be here because of the blessing to be able to coach my son.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to run into you this fall. I'm going to come watch you guys live. But, as a guy, we all know your career. And I'm like, as a guy that could do anything, politics, broadcasting, teaching, whatever, you want to get in this volatile trade of coaching. What drew you to that, Henry? Let's be honest. Why do you want to do it so bad?
Well, it seemed like once my career concluded in Canada, and of course I was on TSN working with CTV Morning Live in Ottawa, I consistently was receiving calls from different friends of mine, guys I played with, old Temple friends, about when am I going to get into coaching? Because, they were saying that there was definitely a need for more, not only just quarterback coaches, but also minority coaches coaching the position because of so many minorities that are now, when you talk about dual threat quarterbacks, I mean, you look up and down every roster, there's dual threat quarterbacks playing in this game. And so they needed somebody who had that feature to their game during their time, just to be able to share their journey, just to be able to look at them in the eye and be able to share the experience because of understanding the feel of playing the position. And again, they continue to knock on the door until I remember after the 2019 Grey Cup, I talked to a couple of guys in the NFL and they said, hey man, it's time for you to make that move now because there's opportunities for you in this game. And so, you know what? I talked to the boys and I said, you know what, this is what it's going to involve, a possible move that could be back to the U.S. Are you guys up for it? And everybody said yes, and then the process began. But unfortunately for us, in 2020, COVID occurred, and that's when I got the job to coach with the Chicago Bears.
Well, and the thing is, Henry, we've all been watching you since you set foot in Canada. I wasn't collegiately, but we all know your thing. You're athletically gifted, got the arm, incredibly bright. How does that translate? Like, it didn't come easily to you because I've seen the work you put in, but not everybody's as gifted as you, is my point. So how do you teach the guys that aren't as gifted as you? How do you get the most out of them?
Well, you always work toward their strong suits because, again, I wasn't the same Henry Burris that played in, later in my career in Calgary, Hamilton, and also Ottawa as compared to the young, whippersnapper that played for the Riders, that played in Calgary to start. Again, there were a lot of times fans had, things to say about, my game when I made mistakes. But just like guys like Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, they all grew from the mistakes that they made, and so did I. And I was thankful for those mistakes because now I see the same thing happening in these young men's journeys, and I'm able to share just my experiences and how I was able to overcome just the adverse parts of my journey as far as being a quarterback. But regardless of its life on and off the field, giving Trevor Lawrence some tidbits of information of how to manage the lifestyle of being a husband and now soon to be a father, it's, I'm blessed and honored that those guys can come to me with confidence, knowing that I'm a guy who's been there. I've found ways for those obstacles as far as during my journey, and now I can share some different insights that they may not receive from other coaches who previously didn't go through those experiences during their journey as far as to being coaches.
Hank, you and I could ring up a phone bill. Always could. I could go on forever, but the second you came on here, I could see the light in your eyes. So this is your thing. You're in the right spot. So that makes me very happy. But you've been through so much. Like for instance, the 2016 Grey Cup. How hurt were you? Because I'm sitting there watching the game, getting ready to watch it all on TSN. Like, Henry's got a knee injury. Right? And we're like, oh, my God. How bad was it that day?
Oh, it was bad, honestly. It was bad. Even leading up that week, I was constantly getting treatment on my knee, and I just knew something wasn't right. But it was unfortunate that in the game, on the best surface possible, playing on grass, which players always welcome, that's when everything just kind of went awry during the pregame warmups, and I felt a pop in my knee. And we all know, for those who've experienced just a slight cartilage tear, when it happens, right away. And I'm thankful for the doctors and the staff with the Ottawa Red Blacks at the time, and the Ottawa nurses from the city of Ottawa, who came together and were able to come up with some concoction and inject it into my knee and give me some painkillers. But regardless of Alex Singleton and Micah Johnson and those guys hitting me left and right during that game, I couldn't feel it. So I could, I would look them in the eye when they would say, "Hey, boom!" I know that had to hurt. I'd say, "Guys, I can't even feel it right now." But it felt good. It kind of put the icing on the cake for me to be able to go there and do what I needed to do, just to finish my career off in the right way. But trust me, my knee was all jacked up, and that's the reason why, for me, if we had to play another period in overtime, it would have been tough for me to survive that, because by the end of that game, my knee was completely locked out due to the amount of swelling that was in my left knee.
Well, Guy, I was cheering for you, so I'm sitting there. I felt it in my gut. The second they showed you, I'm like, oh, no, this isn't good. And then the other thing, I'll wind it up on this, man. The $64,000 question. Somebody wrote in here and said, hey, you got Dave Ridgway, rider hero in hour 1, and Henry Burris, rider villain in hour 2. I'm like, what? Are we not over that? It bothers me. I can see that you're at peace. I can see that you are. But here, Henry, I'm sure you don't even think about that. When I talk about stuff you've been through, how would you respond to that?
You know what? I mean, it's all in the rivalry, and I welcome it always. But again, I'm at peace. The riders were able to go on and look at all the success they've had ever since my time there. Guys like Kerry Joseph, Darren Durant, both able to lead the teams to the promised land and win the big one. And the riders are in a great position now. I mean, with a guy like Corey Mace leading the way, and just, unfortunately with the Trevor Harris injury, but of course he's going to be back during the season, which is great. I mean, Saskatchewan's been able to become, and still the marquee, called the marquee organization of the entire league. That's exactly where I wanted it to be. And I still look up to the riders as being just that. So, when it comes to the faithful there, just as when they booed me during the games, I look forward to enjoying a cold one after the games. And so I carry the same sentiment toward the rider fans, because for me, I still consider them family. And it's a place I love to play, to the point where, guys, if you look what I'm wearing right now, I actually do have green on at the new place that I'm coaching. So I still have green pumping inside my veins. So it still shows you the love is there.
You can still do that politics career if you wanted, right? Like your dad. You handle that very well, Hank. All right, good. I guess exactly. I shouldn't get offended for people, but I'm like, come on, guys. He's the best guy ever. Let's not refer to him as a villain. But as you say, it's all fun and games, and it's all part of what you've been through. And you are where you are now, helping young athletes. I couldn't be more proud of you, Henry. Thanks for the time, and good luck. And I'll be watching for you here this fall.
Well, I hope September 7th, when we come to invade the University of Miami down at Hard Rock, I hope to see you down there, buddy. It's going to be a great game.
We'll be there. We'll be there. I'll be yelling at you. Thanks, Hank.
Hey, Rod, always. Thanks, brother. Love you guys.
All right, the great Henry Burris. Love him, too. Love you, too, Hank. Hey, you. I don't know, man. I got to go against the Hurricanes that day. I will, for Henry's sake.